My name is Kayonda Allstark, and this is my communication improvement plan for my studies in interpersonal communication. Before I explain my plan, I want to share a bit about me because it shaped how I speak and respond. A disabled veteran, and before coming back to school, I worked as a respiratory therapist, team leader, and health coach. When my career ended without warning, returning to college gave me space to look at how my past shaped my communication in both personal and work settings. Before this course, I thought most communication issues came from saying things the wrong way. But after taking the Uniquely You DISC assessment and reading the course material, I learned that many of my struggles came from emotions, assumptions, listening habits, and quick reactions. This presentation shares what I learned, what the literature taught me, and the plan I built to grow as a communicator. My first disc graph shows how I act in public. I tend to be calm, supportive, and careful with my words. I avoid conflict and keep things steady, even if that means holding back my real thoughts. Carbonell 2008 says people often adjust their behavior to meet what others expect. And that helped me to see why I sometimes hide my natural confidence. The assessment also showed areas where I can grow. Speaking up more, being sure of myself, and finding a balance between confidence and humility. My second disc graph shows how I act with people I trust. In familiar settings, I'm more direct, expressive, and goal driven. I enjoy solving problems and planning ahead. Carbonell 2008 explains that this graph shows our true behavior when safe. Even though this style has strengths, it also shows areas I need to work on, like listening more, being gentle with others, and helping keep peace in tough moments. Seeing the two graphs side by side taught me a lot. In public, I seem calm and reserved. In private, I'm more open and direct. Initially, this difference surprised me, but Carbonell 2008 says it's common and can help us grow. These insights helped me spot my communication barrier and build strategies to address them. The first barrier I saw was defensiveness. In hard conversations, I often tried to prove my point instead of understanding the other person. Peterson 2022 explains that defensiveness blocks understanding and makes conflict worse. Ecclesiastes 7 and 9 warns us not to react in anger, and that verse pushed me to look at how my reactions shaped my communication. Seeing my defensiveness was only one step. I also needed better ways to respond when I felt hurt or misunderstood. My strategy is simple: pause, think about the other person's view, and choose words that help, not harm. Schultze and Baczynski 2015 say humility and patience help people feel respected. And Proverbs 15 and 1 reminds us that a soft answer can calm anger. The second barrier was listening only long enough to plan my response. Peterson 2022 calls this the flat brain tango, when both people focus on what they want to say instead of truly listening. I realized I often wanted to be understood more than I wanted to understand others. Proverbs 18 and 22 reminds us that wisdom starts with listening. To fix this, I am working on attentive listening, giving full focus, asking clarifying questions, and making sure I understand before I speak. Schultz and Baczynski, 2015, say good listening skills show care and humility. And Proverbs 18 and 13 warns against answering before hearing the full matter. The third barrier was emotional reactivity. When I felt hurt or misunderstood, I sometimes reacted too fast. Peterson 2022 explains that emotional flooding shifts our focus towards self protection instead of understanding. Proverbs 29 and 11 encourages self control, which is something I'm learning. My strategy is to notice my triggers, pause, and respond with thought. Schultze and Baczynski 2015 remind us that Christ-like communication shows patience, gentleness, and self-control. Qualities supported by Galatians 5:22 through 23. All of this led me to my main communication goal, being more intentional before I respond in tough conversations. A big part of this is noticing tension in my body before I speak. Instead of ignoring these signs, I'm learning to treat them as reminders to pause. I built 3 objectives to support this goal. Pause before reacting, listening to understand, and respond with patience and grace. Colossians 4 and 6 encourages us to let our words be full of grace. The first step is pausing. When I feel tension, I'll take a slow, deep breath and say a silent prayer for wisdom and choose my words with care. Francis and Weichel 2020 highlight the value of intentional responses, and Matten et al. 2025 note that emotional awareness helps relationship. Psalms 141 and 3 is my reminder to seek guidance in speech. The second step is listening to understand. My old habit of focusing on my response made listening hard. To improve, I'll practice reflective listening, ask clarifying questions, and use I statements to reduce defensiveness. Frantz and Weichel 2020 say helping starts with understanding, and Vapawala and Padita 2024 found that empathetic listening builds trust. James 1 and 19 encourages us to listen quickly and speak slowly. The final step is responding with patience and thought. This means keeping open body language, speaking with kindness, and focusing on solving the issue, not winning the argument. Frantz and Weichel 2020 emphasize empathy and genuineness. And Vapawala and Pandita 2024 note that thoughtful communication lowers defensiveness. Ephesians 4 and 29 reminds me to use words that build others up. Building this plan showed me how important steady practice is. My goal is to build trust, create emotional safety, and speak with humility and care. I see this plan as the start of a lifelong journey to grow as a communicator. As I close, this course helped me see my patterns and the barriers that shaped my relationships. I now have a clear plan for growth. Even though I won't respond perfectly every time, my aim is steady intentional progress, one conversation at a time. Thank you.